Hello Hammerheads, Weapon Collector here. That's a little reference to the VidKid 67, if you haven't ever seen his videos. This is going to be this is a tag video. I've been tagged to do a video about 3 future post-apocalyptic films. Just talk about them, ones that we're interested in, you know. This has been a bit of a pain in the arse really, because I can think of tons and tons and tons of post-apocalyptic films, but not future post-apocalyptic films. Right, before I carry on, I'm just going to mention where this started from and, you know, who else has been tagged. So, started with Vampire, so I'll put a link to his channel down there. He tagged the VidKid 67, Trevor, who then tagged myself and Cakes' Cakes. Cakes' Cakes already done his video. I'll probably link to his as well, and I'll do obviously a link to Trevor's channel and his new channel, Dave the Donkey. Right, so as I was saying, been a bit of a pain in the arse for me. I can think of loads of. Well, the thing was, there's a lot of them, but they've all been picked by other people at the minute. So, let's have a bit of coffee quickly. I'm trying to think what I could do, you know. So, basically, I thought I'd just go with a classic. I'll go with a classic, one that you wouldn't really say is future post-apocalyptic, and one that actually isn't future post-apocalyptic, just post-apocalyptic, or during a sort of apocalypse. And then I'm going to mention one that I think everyone should watch, but I haven't actually got it on DVD to show you, but I can show you some pictures of that. So, first one, the old classic, Escape from New York. Although it's not set in the future now, at the time it came out, 1981, this was set in the future, 1997. So I'll just read the back to you. Everyone's going to know this anyway, but there may be 1 or 2 people who haven't seen it. And if you haven't, I actually recommend you watching nearly all of John Carpenter's films. There may be about 2 or 3 that aren't that good, but John Carpenter is a very good director in my opinion. He did some great horrors, ones that started whole sort of genres of of horror. You know, it was John Carpenter who started the slasher film, you know, the slasher horror sort of thing. Right, Escape from New York. In a world ravaged by crime, the entire island of Manhattan has been converted into a walled prison where brutal prisoners roam. But when the US President, Donald Pleasance, crash lands inside, only one man can bring him back. Notorious outlaw and former Special Forces war hero Snake Plissken, Kurt Russell. But time is short. In 24 hours, an explosive device implanted in his neck will end Snake's mission and his life, unless he succeeds. John Carpenter's thrilling landmark film jolts along at a breakneck pace from furious start to a dramatic conclusion. The reason I like this so much is because it is just classic John Carpenter. It's all his own music. Well, as far as I'm aware it normally is. I didn't have time to watch it again just to be really up on everything I was going to talk about. But John Carpenter normally does all his own music. It's got Kurt Russell in it. And, well, it's just typical. Right, the thing with John Carpenter is he was obsessed with westerns. He loved the westerns. He loved the western actors. He loved Sergio Leone. So through his career, he was always trying to make his own westerns, because this is basically, you know, western. Most of his films are, not most, but quite a lot of them are western based in modern times. You know. And he's got one of his favourite actors in it, who when you read about John Carpenter and about well, and listen to the commentaries and that, he always wanted to work with Lee Van Cleef. So he managed to get Lee Van Cleef for this. But definitely worth watching. Highly recommended. I don't like telling people the stories, to film, so I don't like spoiling it, but he's a great war hero of Snake Plissken. He's got to go in, rescue the president before he dies himself. I'm not saying he dies, but he could die. It's got Isaac Hayes in it as a baddie, Donald Pleasance as the president. It's got some great fights. It's got a good fight between Kurt Russell and some great big monster of a bloke, and that ends pretty nicely. I'll spoil this bit for you, but they're fighting, and he managed to get hold of like a baseball bat with a great big spike. I don't know if it's got one spike or more than one spike. He whacks it right in top of mate's head, and he's just laid on the ropes dead. Right, so that's that one. Classic that everyone's going to know. You know. Right. So now, one that isn't really a... Well, it is and it isn't. I got a list of future post-apocalyptic films. And Red Dwarf was part of the list. And I thought, could it really be a future post-apocalyptic film? And not film, because this isn't a film, but it's a TV series. But is it a future post-apocalyptic story? And I suppose when you think about it, it is really. You know, Dave Lister is the only human being in the universe. He's the only one left. There's no Earth left. They've been travelling at light speed for 3 million years because he was locked in stasis, and every single person on the ship is dead. So Red Dwarf really is a future post-apocalyptic story. Right, I'm just going to read you out the back to Red Dwarf. A radiation leak wipes out the crew of the mining ship Red Dwarf, leaving one survivor, chicken soup machine repairman Dave Lister. After 3 million years in suspended animation, Lister emerges to find he is the last human being in the universe. But he is not alone. If you've never seen Red Dwarf, I highly recommend this. I absolutely love Red Dwarf. It's a BBC TV series, started in the late 80s or mid 80s, and it's coming back next year. They're going to do a 9th series. You got Dave Lister, the last human in the universe. He's the biggest, dirtiest slob you could ever get, and this man's going to have to bring back humankind. You get Cat. I won't describe the others apart from Rimmer. I've got the old T-shirt of Ace Rimmer on. Yeah, Crichton, the two Hollies. You know, there was the male Holly and the female Holly. Yeah, Crichton, Cat, and Rimmer. Now Rimmer, you start off hating. Well, I don't know about everyone, but in the end, Rimmer was actually one of my favourite, probably my favourite character, because I felt so sorry for him, because he was such a snivelling wreck and wretch. You know, he was such a fucking measly, snidey bastard, really. You know, he even tried to kill his own alter ego, Ace Rimmer. He hated him so much, you know, and you feel sorry for him in the end. But there's 8 series and the sort of TV film, so you've got a lot of hours you can watch if you get it. Some brilliant, like it starts, like the first couple of series are good, and then by like 2, 3 and 4 it completely changes, and that they pick up the pace. It's more action based, great comedy, lots of just really cool fun ideas in it, you know. And I'll try and tell you at least one thing interesting about Red Dwarf. The character Lister was originally gonna be Ronnie Barker. Now wouldn't that have been strange? I think, well, if you watch the first series, you can gather where they was what they was thinking. It would have been basically porridge in space with Ronnie Barker. Wouldn't that have been weird? And I think even Chris Barry was originally went to rehearse for Lister as well, but it was originally, the character was originally not thought of for, but you know, the first choice was Ronnie Barker, but I don't know if he turned it down. I can't remember now. But thank God, because old Craig Charles, he suits the character down to the ground for me, I think. And the greatest Red Dwarf character ever been, Ace Rimmer, the greatest hero in the universe. And you find out some, you know, there's some really interesting stuff about Ace Rimmer. I don't want to spoil it in case you ever watch it. So that was the sort of well, isn't. And then I'd go for Maximum Overdrive. Not future post-apocalyptic and not traditional apocalyptic, but right, so I'll read you out the back of Maximum Overdrive now. A comet comes within range of Earth and begins circling the planet, but a strange chain reaction comes to force. Suddenly, machines everywhere have become their own masters, beginning a horrifying, deathly and violent revolt against their masters. Can the shell-shock survivors escape the place where the mad machines cannot reach them? Directed by Stephen King himself, the only thing he ever directed. Some people say it's crap, I think it's brilliant. Emilio Estevez. And it's got a lot of other sort of actors you'd know. It's got Yardley Smith, who does Lisa Simpson's voice, and it's got Pat Hingle, who's in quite a few films and quite a few other Stephen King films. But that's brilliant. Well, I love it anyway. Based on Stephen King's own story, Trucks, short story, and then he made it into the film himself. Got good music, AC/DC doing the music. Stephen King's in it, being told he's an arsehole by a ATM machine. It's just a good little fun film, you know. Got some pretty gory bits in it. You know, kids being killed by machinery, stuff like that. That's highly recommended. Yeah, it's got some strange bits in it, but yeah, well worth watching. So that's the three. I'm sorry this is dragging on, I knew it would. It's probably boring as hell as well. But right, that's them. There's one more I wanted to talk about, which I watched yesterday on YouTube. I've seen it years ago. I hoped I had it on video, but I didn't, so I had to get it off of YouTube. And it is an apocalypse film. I wouldn't say it's post-apocalyptic, because post would be after the apocalypse. It's during an apocalypse, during a nuclear war. And it's a film called When the Wind Blows. And it's an animation, British animation, English animation, done by the same bloke who did The Snowman, Raymond Briggs, starring John Mills. I can't remember who did the woman in it. Now this is a really good film. So like I said, it's on YouTube. I'll add a link down there. It's all in one bit as well, the whole thing. You don't even have to watch it in parts. And it's just about an elderly couple living in Sussex who they know what's happening. You know, everyone does. They know, sort of set during the Cold War, I think, and it's like 1981, I think, something like that. I'm not 100% sure. And they know something's going to happen, so he's got these leaflets about how to prepare. But the old dear, she don't really know what's going on. she's oblivious to it, the whole thing, and he's sort of he's trying to prepare, but he don't really know. He means well, but he ain't got a clue. Because he's reading it, he reads out the stuff from the leaflet, and take the doors off and lean them off against the wall to make a nuclear shelter. Like that's going to protect you. They don't even fill the ends in. So he takes the doors off while she's moaning at him, and she wouldn't let him take the cushions off the sofa in case they get dirty, because she's completely oblivious to it. It's a funny film. It's poignant as well and sad, but you got to laugh at it. It's supposed to be funny, but sad as well, because then she's so naive. She doesn't think, who cares if if your cushion's going to get dirty? If you're going to, they're going to be dead anyway, or if not, it might save them. So the whole film is just them gradually preparing for this nuclear attack from Russia, which happens sort of halfway through the film. You see like the massive explosion, they're in their little shelter and they manage to survive the blast, and then it's sort of their time. They're supposed to stay in there, it's supposed to be their time. They're supposed to stay in there for 2 weeks, and after about 2 days he forgets. She kept wanting to get out anyway. About 5 minutes after it happened, she wanted to get back out to go to the toilet. And yeah, so they end up getting out and obviously getting radiation poison and stuff like that, and they're completely nuts. But yeah, When the Wind Blows, I'll put a link to the film down there so you can watch the whole thing in one go. So that's dragged on a lot longer than I meant to drag it on for. 17 and a half minutes. Right. Don't forget to visit Wampire, the VidKid67 and Cakes' Cakes channels. Watch When the Wind Blows, link will be down there. Get all these on DVD and have a good time. See you later.